Hello everyone! Today I am sharing with you how to transform a thrift store vase. Now this is an easy process that I promise you can do as soon as you have the vase in paint. The longest process is the drying. Now for me, I found these really cool, I'm going to call them silk branches, but they're really foam bead covered branches at my local craft store on sale, and I know that blue and gold is a favorite combination of mine, so when I found this great shaped glass vase at the thrift store for a couple bucks, I could not believe it. And I was like, let me transform this so it looks nice and clean and modern and just gorgeous. So with that being said, I'm going to show you how to recreate this so you can make something pretty for your home and your table. Now it's important, whether you buy the glass new or used, that you wash it, get as much off as you can, no debris, no lint, no fingerprints, no residues of any kind. Get some gloves, some paper towels, and paint. I'm using Martha Stewart Crafts. They're a metallic surface, multi-surface craft paint. Now on the back it says it's waterproof, it can cure in 21 days, and it can go in the dishwasher. Personally, I don't ever feel comfortable putting acrylic paint, anything of any variety, with water in a floral arrangement, just because there's so much water. I just can't. To me, I just know too much about acrylic paint, and I'm like, I don't know how that works. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I have not tried it, so I can't tell you if that definitely works or not with this, but I'm sure somebody on the internet can. But going back to this tutorial here, you'll notice that I put just a little bit in at the bottom. And I do apologize for the paper towels. I was trying to be extra careful because normally I'm a pretty messy crafter. And in a minute they'll go away because I'm like, no, this is a lot of work. But what we're doing here to check out the paint is just put a little bit in and swirl it around. Because every paint batch is different. Every paint company is different. Different surfaces create different combinations for your paint. And so what we're looking for is to see how thick the paint is, how fluid it is there a lot of air bubbles in there we have to be mindful of, just a lot of different factors. Now I will say without a doubt, unless you're an extremely patient person and are doing this watching TV, you're going to end up with more paint in your vase than you need. And don't worry about it. I'll show you how to take care of that at the end of the video. So don't worry about putting too much paint in. It's okay. I promise you it won't hurt your project. So what's important here is to continuously rotate the vase so that paint gets enough momentum going and covers all of the surfaces. Now, it's not like nail polish in the sense that you need to have multiple layers on your surface inside. And what I mean by that is you don't have to put a layer on, let it dry, put another layer on and let it dry. Unless the paint that you're using is really transparent or you can tell that it's making a difference. But as I'm looking at this while I'm putting the paint in, I can tell that this paint is good quality. It's holding to the surface as it should, as they say it was made to. And I don't have to worry about any of it peeking through. I just have to worry about covering the whole surface. So that's why I'm just going to keep layering on the paint here. And I do have it on a little bit of a faster speed, but just because this process is not this quick in person. I wish it was, but it's not. And for those of you I like to refer to as like 20-minute crafters like myself, if I can't do it in a few minutes, I tend not to want to do it unless I'm really, really into it. So this is going to take a little bit longer because this is a bigger vase and it requires more surface area to be covered. But having said that, if you do this on like a small little 4-inch cube or some maybe votives or something like that, you could easily do this project in just a few minutes. Just not a big vase. If don't pick a big vase if you're in a hurry. Let's just leave it at that. So what I'm pointing to here is naturally occurring, I'll call them rivets, but just glass formations from the glass manufacturing process. That is not the paint. That is the actual glass itself, which I did not, it's hard to see without really looking at the glass, but I am thrilled with it because I think it adds just a nice texture and dimension to the project. So if you're not into that kind of look, then I strongly advise you maybe putting some paper in or something that can provide some contrast in your vase ahead of time to see if those are there. But in this case, I think with the gold especially, it just looks really nice. So right now I've put some paper towels down on my surface so I can gently and in a non-damaging way rotate my glass around so the paint can best get to where it needs to go. Now at this point you have two options. You can keep adding more paint and dump it out like I'm doing here, or you can just keep rotating it. Now I ended up putting in more paint because I'm a millennial and I hit my 20-minute marker. I left it dumped over for a few minutes. Now it is not going to get all of the extra paint out, but what I'm going to do is set it straight up and let it dry for a little bit and see how it's doing. Now this is the next morning and I came in with it and look, sorry, it's a little shaky, but you can see all of that paint is still in there and it's still wet. So what that means is there was too much paint in there, and that's okay. And this is another situation where if your paint is too thin and it's not covering through everything on the outside, then you're going to have to put another layer in or make sure this excess paint will cover those spots. If not, like this paint, it's already covered, so what do? Yes, technically you could dump it upside down, but I chose to rotate it around and then set it on a different angle. The reason I did that is because I know that I'm going to be using a lot of silks and synthetics and man-made anything really to go inside it, branches, silk flowers, whatever. So I worry about them scratching up the bottom of the glass. So as I'm coming in periodically and rotating the glass so the paint shifts, I'm really focusing on putting a few extra layers with this extra paint in the bottom so I don't have to worry about any of those synthetics of any kind scratching up the bottom, because that would suck to have that happen. So once you've done that, you let it dry for however long it needs, plus a few extra days to cure. If you think you've learned something, you're inspired to make something, or you're going to give this a go on your own, make sure to like this video so I know you enjoyed it. Subscribe so you can see all of my cool tablescapes and DIY projects for the home, table, parties, weddings, soirees, whatever I'm inspired by. Right now I'm in the middle of my 2017 tablescape challenge where I'm creating beautiful tablescapes each month and sharing them with you, as well as how I made them, where I got everything from, which is mostly the thrift stores, I might add, and more importantly, how I did all of the DIY elements. Thanks so much for watching.